Thank you for joining us today to learn more about how you can get vote ready. I'm Janaline, Chief of the Elections Division, and I'm excited to be part of today's event to share official resources and trusted information provided by the Secretary of State's office to prepare you for the November 4th, 2025 statewide special election. We want to thank you for joining us at this event to learn more about how you can get vote ready. Today, we'll be looking at what's on the ballot and explore many of the resources available to voters from the Secretary of State's office that can help you prepare for this upcoming election. There will be time for Q&A after the presentation, and we encourage you to write your questions in the Q&A box that can be found in the toolbox at the bottom of your screen. We do have limited time today, so we may not get to everyone's question, but we encourage you to reach out to our voter hotline or email our office, and we'll provide you our contact information throughout the presentation. Now it is my distinct honor to introduce California Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Ann Weber.
Well, good afternoon. I am truly honored to be with you today and to be with our staff as we talk about Get Vote Ready. I wake up every morning realizing that I'm probably the most fortunate person in the world. And that is because I get a chance to really deal with issues that talk about the present, but also the future. That I get a chance to basically impact so many people's lives and stabilize our democracy through the election process. But equally important, I get to work with some amazing individuals in the Secretary of State's office who are so committed and dedicated to making sure that when we do an election, that it is fair and honest and transparent, and you know what you're voting for. And they work very hard to accomplish that. I can't tell you how hard it has been to get this election, November 4th, 2025, off the ground and moving in such an amazing manner. It's been a short time frame, and yet you would think that our folks had lots of time because they are so committed to making this happen. And I'm always amazed at what I see. This has been an amazing opportunity for us to really see how quickly we can put together an election, how effectively and efficiently we can do that, and how we can make sure that you understand exactly what's taking place, even when you don't have months and months to think about it. But we have done enough work and put enough things in our website to help you understand all the issues that are there, to give you the information, and then to provide individuals who can also help you with various resources and materials that may be available. So it really is a tremendous task, but one of the things that always happens in the Secretary of State's office is that it is truly a labor of love, that those who work here and those who work in elections feel very honored and pleased to work with you, to provide you the information you need, because they know that you're making our state stronger and our nation stronger when we have an election process that is as strong as it is in California. I often let everybody know always that voting is your voice, that that's who you are, that is what this nation is, and we don't take it lightly. And so we have done everything we can to make sure that our elections are safe and secure, and that you understand what you're voting for. And hopefully you will go to the polls to vote. We've spent a tremendous amount of time over the last few years registering individuals. We've registered high school students. Over 1 million high school students have been pre-registered to be able to vote when they turn 18. We have 85% of all possibly Californians who could actually register to vote, who are actually registered to vote at this point, which is record numbers. And we hope all of you will take advantage of the opportunity to not just register, but to actually vote. And we send you a ballot. And so all of those things to create a convenience and an opportunity for you to exercise your right as a citizen of the United States and a resident of California. So once again, thanks to my staff. Thanks for the amazing job that you continue to do day after day. That really amazes me. And I'm just honored to be with you today, to be a part of this. And I know those of you who have registered, the hundreds of you who have already registered and who are already online, they're going to find this information amazing because we want you to have a wonderful November 4th election, and that you will be proud of what we've done, but you'll also be proud of the decisions that are made. So once again, thank you for coming. Thanks to the staff for being here. Have an amazing webinar.
Thank you, Dr. Weber. And now I would like to introduce Cameron Petrovich, an elections outreach analyst with our Voter Engagement Services Unit. He will be helping you today to get vote ready. Thank you, Cameron.
Thank you, Jana. Hello, everyone. Welcome. As mentioned, my name is Cameron Petrovich. I'm an elections analyst and outreach coordinator with the California Secretary of State's office in the Elections Division. During today's session, we're going to be reviewing some options available to cast your ballot, how you can track it, and we'll also give you a little insight into what happens to your ballot once it's been cast. Here's just a quick snapshot of what we'll be going over today, which includes your voter bill of rights, dates to remember, what's on the November ballot, what you can expect from your county elections office, how you can become vote ready, including information about voter registration and helpful tips for voters, as well as information about Where's My Ballot, which is our ballot tracking service. We'll also talk about election security and provide you with some election day information. As a registered voter, you're protected by certain rights to ensure that you are able to cast your vote. It's important for you to know what your rights are when casting your ballot to ensure that your voice is heard. A copy of the Voter Bill of Rights is available on page 2 of the Statewide Voter Information Guide and available on our website. The QR code on the bottom of this slide will take you directly to that page. There are 10 elements to the Voter Bill of Rights. The first element is that you have the right to vote if you are a registered voter. You are eligible to vote if you are a U.S. citizen living in California and at least 18 years old. You will also need to be registered where you currently live, and you cannot be currently serving a state or federal prison term for the conviction of a felony, and you cannot be currently found mentally incompetent to vote by a court. The second element is that you have the right to vote if you are a registered voter, even if your name is not on the list. If your name is not on the list, you will vote using a provisional ballot, and it will be counted if election officials determine that you are eligible. You have the right to vote if you are in line when the polls close at 8 p.m., so make sure that you stay in line. Next, you have the right to cast your ballot without anyone bothering you or telling you how to vote. Then you also have the right to get a new ballot if you make a mistake. If you've already cast your ballot, you can ask an elections official at a polling place for a new ballot, exchange your vote by mail ballot for a new one at an elections office or your polling place, or you can vote using a provisional ballot. Next, you have the right to get help casting your ballot as long as that person is not your employer or a union representative. You have the right to drop off your completed vote by mail ballot at any polling place in California. You have the right to get election materials in any language other than English if enough people in your voting precinct speak that language. You also have the right to ask questions to election officials about election procedures as long as you're not being disruptive to other voters. And finally, you have the right to report any illegal or fraudulent election activity to an elections official or the Secretary of State's office. If you feel that you're being denied any of these rights, please contact our confidential voter hotline for assistance. The phone number is available on this slide, on our website, and we're also going to put it in the chat for you. Here, we have important dates to remember leading up to the statewide special election. All 58 counties have started sending out ballots as of October 6th. You can sign up for the Where's My Ballot tool to get important notifications about the location on your ballot. We'll give you more details on that tool later in this presentation. Drop-off locations open for vote by mail ballots on October 7th. As people start to receive their ballots in the mail, they're welcome to fill them out, sign them, seal them, and drop them off to be counted. If you're voting by mail, early voting begins on October 6th. In Voters' Choice Act counties, vote centers open for early in-person voting as early as October 25th. Election Day is the day we're all preparing for, and that's November 4th. This will be the last day to vote in the statewide special election, and ballots must be postmarked by 8 p.m., which is the close of polls. We encourage everyone to get their ballots in early, although in-person voting is, of course, available for those who would like to cast their ballot in person. The Statewide Voter Information Guide contains a great deal of helpful information for voters, and we'll be reviewing some of the key elements of what's available within it. We'll provide an overview of what it contains relating to the proposition on the ballot, including the quick reference guide, the official ballot title and summary, and the proposition analysis, the text of the proposed law, and we'll also have some additional information throughout the presentation that can be found on some of the information pages within the guide. If you would like to follow along as we talk about the State Voter Information Guide, we'll put a link to the PDF version in the chat for you to access it. You can also find the State Voter Guide online at voterguide.sos.ca.gov or by scanning the QR code here on the screen. The quick reference guide provides an at-a-glance view of Proposition 50, which is the only statewide proposition in this statewide special election. Here, you see the quick reference guide entry for Proposition 50, which can be found on page 5. The quick reference guide includes the proposition name and a quick summary provided by the Attorney General's office, which also includes a brief fiscal impact statement. It also lets you know if the proposition was placed on the ballot by the legislature or through the statewide initiative process. In the case of Proposition 50, the proposition was placed on the ballot by the legislature. The quick reference guide also includes an overview of the pro arguments, which are the arguments in favor of the proposition, and con arguments, which are arguments against the proposition. Shown here are the pro and con arguments for Proposition 50. The last section of the quick reference guide for the proposition is the additional information section. This is where the contact information can be found for both the for and against arguments for the proposition. This is also the end of the quick reference guide. The State Voter Information Guide provides more information about the proposition as you get deeper into its contents. This is the official title and summary for proposition, which is on page 8 of your State Voter Information Guide. The Attorney General prepares the official titles and summaries, such as this one, for all state propositions. The official title and summary gives voters more information about what the measure proposes and highlights the measure's fiscal impacts. If you want a more detailed informative information about the proposition than is in the quick reference guide or the Attorney General summary, the State Voter Information Guide includes an in-depth analysis of the proposition prepared by the Legislative Analyst's Office. This begins on page 8 of your Voter Information Guide. Here, you'll find parts of the more in-depth discussion prepared by the Legislative Analyst's Office for Proposition 50. It starts with the section on the background, of which a portion is shown above, and continues into additional elements of the analysis, including the proposition proposal, of which again, we are showing you part of in this slide, but can also be read in full within the guide itself. This in-depth analysis includes more information about the fiscal effects of the proposition. Here you see part of the legislative analyst summary of the fiscal impacts of Proposition 50. We'll put these links in our presentation chat. This information is also in your State Voter Information Guide on page 9. This section also directs voters to further information about top contributors to the state candidates or ballot measures. For this election, there are no state candidates on the ballot. This information can be found on the websites of the Fair Political Practices Commission or the FPPC and the Secretary of State. We'll put these links in our presentation chat. This information is also available in your State Voter Information Guide in the beginning, just under the table of contents on page 3. The State Voter Information Guide also contains arguments in favor of and arguments against Proposition 50, as you can see here, are in the guide on pages 16 and 17. These arguments are submitted by the authors from outside the Secretary of State's office. Legislators, representatives of nonprofit organizations and businesses, and individuals can submit the arguments in favor of or against a proposition. The arguments are the opinions of the authors and are not fact-checked for accuracy by any official agency. There is also an opportunity to submit a rebuttal to the arguments in favor of or against the proposition, as are shown here for Proposition 50. These arguments always appear on opposite-facing pages, so the voter has easy access to compare arguments and are also found on pages 16 and 17 in the State Voter Information Guide. Again, these rebuttals are the opinions of the authors and are not fact-checked for accuracy by any official agency. The text of the proposed law is the actual text of the proposed law or proposition that has been placed on the ballot and is available for you to read on page 18 within the guide or online. In the case of Proposition 50, this is a constitutional amendment. Your county will send you a separate county voter information guide. This guide will include a sample ballot, which will include the statewide measure and may include additional contests depending on where you live. It will also include a list of voting locations as well as other important information for the election. Your county elections office will also send you your ballot with a postage-paid return envelope. For more information about your local county elections, you can scan the QR code on this slide for a list of local county election offices so you can contact them directly. We'll now begin going over a few important items to assist voters with becoming vote ready. We want to make sure everyone across California knows how to access and use voting services and is aware of their voting rights. These include things such as voter registration, our Voting Rights Restored program, services for military and overseas voters, and assistance for voters with disabilities. In order to be eligible to vote in a statewide election, you must be a U.S. citizen and a California resident. We'll talk more about military and overseas voters in just a moment. In order to be eligible to vote, you also need to be 18 or older by election day, and you can pre-register at 16 or 17. You also cannot be currently found mentally incompetent to vote by a court of law. And lastly, you cannot be currently serving a state or federal prison term for the conviction of a felony. If you do have a prior felony conviction and have completed serving your sentence, your voting rights have been restored to you upon the completion of that term. Individuals on parole or probation are eligible to vote. More information on this can be found on our website at votingrightsrestored.sos.ca.gov. You can register to vote, update your registration, or check your voter registration status by going to registertovote.ca.gov online. You can also register to vote by mail using a voter registration card or in person. The deadline for this is 15 days before the election, which is October 20th. Same-day voter registration is available at polling places and vote centers. Certain voters who are in the midst of life-threatening situations, such as victims and survivors of domestic violence, stalking, sexual assault, human trafficking, elder or dependent adult abuse, or similar circumstances, may qualify for confidential voter status if they are active members of the Safe at Home program. For more information on the Safe at Home program, please contact the Secretary of State's Safe at Home program at 877-322-5227. Or you can visit the website that's posted in this slide, and we'll also drop it in the chat for you. We do want to inform you that some of the information used on your voter registration affidavits will be used by the elections officials to send you official information on the voting process, such as the location of your polling place and information that will be on the ballot. Commercial use of voter registration information is prohibited by law and is a misdemeanor. Voter information may be provided to a candidate for office, ballot committees, or other persons for election, journalistic, political, or governmental purposes. Driver's license and social security numbers, or your signature on your voter registration card cannot be released for these purposes. If you do have questions about the use of voter information or would like to report suspected misuse of such information, please call the Secretary of State's toll-free voter hotline at 800-345-8683. Californians who are serving in the military or who are living outside of the United States do have the ability to participate in California elections with the proper arrangements. Those who qualify can register to vote as a military or overseas voter and receive their election materials by mail, fax, or email. One of the best pieces of advice that we can provide to military and overseas voters is to start early. County elections officials begin mailing ballots to military and overseas voters 60 days before Election Day. Some other important dates to remember are October 20th, which is the last day for military and overseas voters to register to vote in the statewide special election. Also, keep in mind the period between October 21st and November 4th, which is the same-day voter registration period. You may conditionally register to vote a provisional ballot during this time period. November 4th is Election Day. Mailed ballots must be postmarked on or before Election Day and received by your county elections office no later than November 12th. If you would like more information about military and overseas voters, please scan the QR code on this screen or check out page 19 in the State Voter Information Guide. If you're a voter living with a disability, there are many options to ensure that you can participate in the statewide special election. California is committed to ensuring every voter is able to cast their ballot privately and independently. For more information on how your county elections office can support you, please check your county voter information guide or contact your county elections office. You can also find additional information for assistance for voters with disabilities on our website by scanning the QR code on this slide or by looking at page 27 of the Voter Information Guide. If you need help marking your ballot, you may choose up to 2 people to assist you. However, they cannot be your employer, a colleague, or your union leader, or anyone who works for your union. Curbside voting is available at all polling locations. This allows you to park as close as possible to the voting area, and an elections official will bring you a roster to sign, a ballot, and any other materials you may need to vote. Remote accessible vote by mail systems provide an accessible option for voters with disabilities to receive their ballot at home and mark it independently and privately before sending it back to their election officials. You can contact your county elections office for more information about this option. Audio and large print voter information guides are available from the Secretary of State's office in English, Chinese, Hindi, Japanese, Khmer, Korean, Spanish, Tagalog, Thai, and Vietnamese at no cost. To order these materials, you can visit vote.ca.gov or you can call our voter hotline at 800-345-8683, or you can click on the link that we've actually put in the chat for you. Now, we're going to move into how you can become vote ready. This includes things such as voting by mail, how to use and find drop boxes, Voters' Choice Act counties, and what you need to know about in-person voting and additional election information. Remember that being vote ready means knowing how you can be prepared for the election. You can use the tools that we've provided you to vote early by knowing where you can go to drop off your completed ballot or by finding your early voting location. If you want to vote in person, be sure to check out our website or scan the QR code on this screen so you know where your polling location is ahead of the election. Remember, in-person polling locations are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on election day. If you are in line to vote before 8 p.m. on election day, stay in line so that you can vote. As we've mentioned, counties began mailing out ballots on October 6th. We want to offer some quick tips to ensure voters are ready to complete their ballots when they arrive. To complete your ballot, mark your choices clearly in ink. Next, secure your vote by mail ballot inside the vote by mail return envelope you received from your county elections office. Then sign the outside of the envelope in the designated section. We want to remind everyone to make sure that you sign your vote by mail envelope in the designated section. Your county elections office will compare signatures on vote by mail ballots before they count them. They will use the signature you have on file with the DMV from your California's driver's license or your ID, or the one you provided when you registered to vote. Once your ballot is completed, sealed, and signed, you can drop it in a vote by mail drop box or place it in the mail. You can do this as soon as you complete it. Voting early is always a good plan. If you place it in the mail, it must be postmarked no later than Election Day, so be sure to keep that in mind when making your plans. If you would like to deliver your ballot in person, you can do so at any polling place, vote center, or your county elections office by 8 p.m. on Elections Day. Be sure to sign up for the Where's My Ballot tool so that you can track your ballot and receive notifications when it arrives to your county elections office. We'll cover this free service in just a moment. Once again, counties began mailing vote by mail ballots on October 6th. Remember, voting early is always a great option. Once you receive your ballot, you can fill it out and place it in the mail or in a drop box. It's written in California's elections code that all registered California voters will receive a vote by mail ballot. If you do not receive your vote by mail ballot and the election is getting closer, you can apply for a ballot replacement with your county elections office. If you do want to vote in person, you can. No one is stopping you. No one is required to vote by mail if they would rather vote at a polling location. We would recommend that you take your vote by mail ballot to your polling place if you choose to vote in person and surrender it so that elections officials know that you have not voted yet. If you've misplaced your ballot or you don't have it with you when you go to vote in person, that's okay. That will not stop you from being able to vote. You can find your polling place by looking up your county vote. You're looking at your county voter information guide, contacting your county elections office directly, or using one of 2 websites that the Secretary of State has that can assist you. Find your polling place or the My Voter Status tool. We'll drop a link to both of these in the chat for you today. If you do choose to mail your ballot, it's important to note that the United States Postal Service may not be able to guarantee your ballot will receive the correct postmark and be delivered if your ballot is put in the mailbox on or just before Election Day. We highly recommend voting early, using drop boxes, or that you take your ballot directly into a USPS office to make sure that it's received on time. Once you've voted, county elections officials initiate a specific process to manage your ballot. We'll walk you through some of the essential parts of this process and the security measures in place to ensure a safe and reliable election. County election officials routinely collect ballots from the post offices, and drop boxes following a strict chain of custody. For anyone unfamiliar with the term chain of custody, in this context, it means that two designated county officials are responsible for safeguarding the ballot throughout the collection and counting processes. Each of the 58 counties is required to submit its chain of custody plans to the Secretary of State's Office of Election Security before each election. All vote by mail ballots undergo verification checks, including capturing an image of the voter's signature and the signature on the ballot to ensure it matches the voter registration data. Signatures on ballot return envelopes are also compared against voter registration records. The county will notify you if your signature is missing or if it does not match. If you signed up for our ballot tracking service, Where's My Ballot, that we'll talk about next, you'll receive an important notification on where your ballot is in this process. Reporting on vote by mail ballots begins at 8 p.m. on elections night, and ballots will be counted until the election is certified on December 12th. For more information about these specific steps, you can download this flyer using the QR code that's on the screen. Now, we've previously mentioned the Where's My Ballot service a few times in this presentation, but now we'll actually explain what it is and how you can use it to help you. So what exactly is Where's My Ballot? Well, Where's My Ballot is a ballot tracking service launched by the California Secretary of State in partnership with Ballot Tracks. This service allows voters to track their ballot, whether they voted in person, at a polling place, or mailed their ballot into their county. What you currently see here on the screen is an image of the main page that you will find when you visit where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov. When you visit the login page, you can select your preferred language by clicking on the drop-down at the top right of the page. You can choose any of the following as your preferred language by clicking on the drop-down, or you can choose any of the following as your preferred language: English, Spanish, Chinese, Hindi, Japanese, Khmer, Korean, Tagalog, Thai, or Vietnamese. After selecting your language, you must enter your first and last name, date of birth, and zip code, exactly as you did when registering to vote. If everything is correct, you can click register/login to access your account. If there are any errors, the page will display a message explaining the issue and how to fix it, or where you can seek further assistance. The frequently asked questions document can be found just above the first name entry field, and it contains useful troubleshooting information. Once you've entered all the correct information, you will be directed to your Where's My Ballot account. The service allows voters to set up contact and notification preferences. We have an image of that screen shown here on the right side of the slide. From there, you can select your preferred contact method or methods if you choose more than one. After choosing your contact method or methods, you will provide the necessary information for each method, such as an email address for email notifications or your phone number for text or phone call preferences. You can also adjust the hours during which you would like to receive notifications. The default notification window for all account holders is set from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. When you're signed into your account, you can also see the status of your current ballot, and you can see your previous voting record, including whether you voted in person or by mail. With each election, Where's My Ballot is enabled in your county for you to use to help you know more about the status of your ballot. Here, you can see the three most common messages you may receive using Where's My Ballot. They include ballot outbound, ballot inbound, and ballot received and accepted. The first message you will receive is the ballot outbound message. This message means that the county has mailed out your vote by mail ballot and it's on its way to you. The next message that you may receive is the ballot inbound message. This message means that the United States Postal Service has picked up your vote by mail ballot and it's being returned to your county elections office. Only some counties use the ballot inbound message, so don't be alarmed if you don't receive this message, as not receiving it doesn't mean that your ballot isn't in transit. The last message you will receive is the ballot received and accepted message. It means your county has received and counted your vote by mail ballot. The Where's My Ballot tracking service also has some additional messages that may be sent out depending on your specific circumstance. 7 days before the election, you might receive the 1 week left to return your ballot message to remind you that the county has yet to receive your ballot for the upcoming election. The ballot received message indicates that your local county elections office has received your ballot, but it hasn't been counted just yet. The contact your county message will be sent if there's an issue with your vote by mail ballot, informing you to contact your local county elections office for a resolution. If the post office can't deliver your ballot, you would receive the ballot undeliverable message, and you'll need to resolve the issue by contacting your county. Voters can begin dropping off ballots in drop boxes as early as October 7th. Ballots can be mailed or dropped off in person, which also include early in-person polling sites. To help find a voting location, you can visit our website at caearlyvoting.sos.ca.gov. If you're making use of one of the many drop boxes available, know that county officials collect all ballots on a regular basis and ensure they're handled properly. If you signed up for Where's My Ballot, you'll be notified when the county receives your ballot. If you decide to mail your ballot, ballots must be postmarked by no later than November 4th. Please remember that the United States Postal Service cannot guarantee a postmark if ballots are put in the mail on or just before Election Day, which is why you've heard us say that voting early is always a great option. Vote centers are available in what are called Voters' Choice Act counties. The Voters' Choice Act was designed to provide voters greater flexibility and convenience by allowing them to vote at any polling location within their county. In these counties, vote centers open up to 10 days before the election day, helping expand access to the ballot through early voting opportunities. If your county is not a Voters' Choice Act county, you may still have the opportunity to begin early in-person voting. Please check with your county elections office for details. To find out more information or to see if your county is a Voters' Choice Act county, visit vca.sos.ca.gov, scan the QR code on this slide, or you can reference page 6 of the Voter Information Guide. It's important to remember that you, the voter, are the best defense against rumors and misinformation. In our current climate, false election information can be very common, and our goal is to ensure that we help provide accurate sources of information while helping people identify misinformation and disinformation before it spreads. On our CA Trusted Information page, you will have direct access to accurate information about election facts. This website also has information that will debunk some of the most common election rumors and provides clarification about what is true and what is not. We have several secure processes in place and work closely with county elections officials on the security of voting locations and drop boxes. For example, county voting systems are not connected to the internet. Our office rigorously tests voting systems, and we work directly with our state and federal partners on routine threats. We also have a strict chain of custody procedure for our drop boxes and handling of ballots. Election officials perform post-election audits, and signatures are verified on all vote-by-mail envelopes. Please scan the QR code on this screen to find out more information on election security processes and more information on our trusted sources of election information. Don't forget, when making a plan to vote, to check your voter status. The My Voter Status tool can help you check your current voter registration status, find your polling place or vote center, check the status of your ballot, which includes the date your ballot was mailed, if it's been received by the county, and if it's been counted, and it can help you get more valuable information. For more information on this tool, visit our website at voterstatus.sos.ca.gov, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. For election day information, you can go to our website at vote.ca.gov. You can also call our toll-free voter hotline at 1-800-345-8683 if you need help or any other additional information to assist you on or before Election Day. The results of the November 4th statewide special election will start to be posted after the polls close at 8 p.m. on election night and will be updated each day at 5 p.m. throughout the canvass period as the counties continue to count the ballots. The official results of the election will be posted once it's been certified on December 12th. If you need more information about the statewide special election, you can either scan the QR code on this slide or visit vote.ca.gov. Our main elections page features details about key election dates, voter registration information, election security, and a variety of other resources. We also have a dedicated webpage for the upcoming November 4th statewide special election. On behalf of Secretary Weber and the entire Elections Division here at the California Secretary of State, we want to thank you for joining us to learn more about the ways that you can participate in the coming election and beyond.
I want to say thank you so much. And wrapping up the session, I'd like to thank all of our Secretary of State's team, including Dr. Weber, for joining us today. I'd also like to take time to thank all of our hardworking county elections officials and poll workers for their hard work and dedication to ensure that we continue to have safe and secure elections throughout California. And of course, I want to thank you for spending part of your day with us to learn more about how to get vote ready. Please be sure to go to our website to check out the Statewide Special Election Voter Information Guide at voterguide.sos.ca.gov to review all the information we talked about today. We hope that you found this information helpful. And now that you know all the different ways to find the important information that you need and know what's on the ballot, where to go to find the trusted information, and how you can make your plan to vote early, we hope that you are ready and confident to participate in this upcoming election. This concludes today's presentation. Have a great afternoon, and please don't forget to vote. Thank you.